For more on what's ahead for the crypto rally, let's bring in fast money friend and Bitcoin bull, Brian Kelly, CEO of BKCM. BK, where do you think we go from here?
Well, it depends on the time frame, right? So I think everything that you guys talked about is exactly spot on. So you have a asset that is bumping against a former resistance. You look at some of the kind of internals. One of the things that I look at it a lot is funding rates. And funding rates just a day or so ago got to 100%. So effectively, you could almost make 100% arbitrage. So that brings in sellers. We saw it hit 64,000 today, and a lot of sellers came in. So in the relatively short term, it would not surprise me to see a pullback. And I tell my team every single day, even in 2017, when we had, Ethereum up 4,000%, it still had a month that was down 50%. So this is an asset that is still extremely volatile. If it pulled back 25 or 30%, wouldn't surprise me at all. But long run, I still think we go to new highs.
Do you think this price action is the playbook for when Ether has its ETF approved?
I think it could be. I think people will certainly look at this and go, well, boy, if Ether's going to come along and do it, I want to be in ahead of it. And I think that's what we saw a lot of the action in Ether this month or the last 6 weeks or so. There's a lot more to Ethereum and some of these some of these kind of second tier coins. But yeah, that's certainly a driver of that price for Ethereum.
BK, big fan of your work. Tell Brian I say hi. To the extent that you even want to go down this road, what equities sort of are best suited to handle or take advantage of what's going on right now?
Yeah, so there's a handful, right? You can go on the miner side, right? And the miners are great trading stocks. The problem I have always had fundamentally with miners is that they're really tough businesses. You always have to update your equipment. There's a lot of capital outlay. But when Bitcoin's in a bull market, you look at something like CleanSpark was a name that I looked at the other day. It was up 23% in the day. So you've got those. You can then go to kind of the service provider. Coinbase would be probably the biggest and most obvious one there. They're clearly seeing massive inflows here. So that'd be another equity I would look at if you wanted to play kind of the ecosystem around crypto.
Hey, BK, it's Karen. Also, huge fan of your work. Is this Bitcoin itself stealing all the oxygen out of the crypto space, or are there other places that you would look that might be, to use the term value, that's a loosely related term here, but where else would you look, if anywhere? Do you want to be only in Bitcoin?
Yeah, great question. I'm a fan of your questions, Karen. So Bitcoin is sucking all the air out of the ecosystem. If you just looked at the board today, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit of Solana was up, and almost everything else was red, right? I do think there could be a rotation trade coming, though, because we had a lot of excitement about Solana. It ran into a little bit of headway. If today's was this short-term top at 64,000 for Bitcoin, what typically happens in a bull cycle is all the money that was made in Bitcoin and Ethereum starts to look for another home. So you look at Solana, you might look at something like a Chainlink, one or two down that have a real use case and a real reason to exist. I think they could actually be the beneficiary of a pullback in Bitcoin.
BK, when you look at Marathon and you look at these miners, when you talk about or think about the halving, is that a headwind, or do they have to be more efficient in figuring out their business models on mining to make it a tailwind or to at least neutralize that headwind?
Yeah, and every one of these public miners is being incredibly efficient with their processes right now, particularly the halving. Now, the halving, to me, is a lot more psychological than it is fundamental, because it's, you're going down to 450 Bitcoin. That's not a lot of Bitcoin these days. The miners are going to make money, as long as they control their costs. So I think the halving, we look back at the last couple cycles, you've had bull markets centered around them 1 year before, 18 months after. So I think people are looking at that. So it's more of a part of the setup phase, but it's not the catalyst for things moving higher, in my view.
Outside of Bitcoin, BK, what's your number one cryptocurrency?
Ooh, number one. Now you get me in trouble with everybody in crypto because I don't pick theirs. But I would have to say, and it's a trade that I'm actually doing, is the rotation from Bitcoin and Ethereum into Solana. I think that one's got the next kind of pop higher here.